Hello, everyone. Welcome. I am Sean Liner, product management consultant and coach for Pathfinder Product Labs. Pathfinder is located in Columbus, but I work remotely here in Cleveland. I've been in product management roles for 12 years, and before that, I was a software engineer. Spent much of my entire professional career in technology roles, including product management, software engineering, technical support. Um, really looking forward to having this conversation with a esteemed panel of product people from around the state of Ohio. Um, Pleased here to welcome Mike Belcito, Jackie Greenfield, and Jarietta Monserrat. Really looking forward to hearing what they have to share about their product management journeys, the different roles they've had in their product careers, why they joined product management, and sharing those with you today. Jarietta, if you don't mind kicking us off.
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Jariatu Mansoray. I live here in Columbus, Ohio, but I work remotely as a product coach for Industrial Logic based out in Berkeley, California. And then in my off time, I serve as executive director for Black Tech Columbus, which is a local nonprofit here in Central Ohio as well.
Hey, everybody, this is Mike Belcito. I'm in Lakewood, Ohio, near Cleveland, and I'm the co-founder of Product Collective, which is a community for product people, product managers, product leaders. We do a number of things. Maybe one of the biggest things that we do is organize conferences. We have one coming up in Cleveland, Ohio, Industry, the Product Conference. But we also have a European edition in Dublin, Ireland. We also organize the New York Product Conference as well. Aside from those 3 in-person conferences, we also organize virtual conferences. I also happen to be the co-host of rocketship.fm. We've done, I think, over 500 episodes now. I've been the co-host there for a few years. It's a lot of fun. And then I also am an adjunct professor teaching undergraduate product management at Case Western Reserve University in Cleveland.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jackie Greenfield. I'm head of product management at Patriot Software. I live in Beechwood, Ohio, which is also near Cleveland on the other side from Mike. And the Patriot Software is located in Canton, Ohio. It's about an hour south of Cleveland. And I work there as head of product management, and it's a SaaS company creating payroll and accounting software for American small businesses and their accountants. I also do have a blog I occasionally post on, which is up on the screen.
Great. Yeah, thank you for joining very much. Looking forward to sharing your stories and really giving the audience a perspective of product careers as an exciting role and something to consider going forward, in the crucial role they serve within organizations from an innovation and strategy perspective. And one of the most interesting parts of product management for me, and I think the audience as well, and the panel, is kind of how we got to our roles today. Many of us may have come from different backgrounds, may have different interests, maybe different degrees. Typically not product management and product roles are not typically taught in higher education. There are very few degrees in it, although that's starting to change a bit. For example, Cleveland State here has a product management boot camp. For my panelists, how did you get into product management? Like, what attracted you to product management, and why product management? Why product roles specifically? Mike, maybe if you could start us off.
Sure. Yeah. To your point, I think probably all of us. Well, I'm interested to hear the other panelists. At least for my case, I kind of fell into product management. A lot of product people that I meet, it's very similar. I've been in early stage technology companies my whole career. So ever since going to business school, I graduated from business school back in 2005. So I've been in early stage tech startups that entire time. But it really wasn't until around 2016 that I found myself in a true product dedicated role. I had a company of my own at the time that was acquired, and I was trying to figure out my next thing. And I started getting recruited by companies as a product person. I remember the role that I eventually took was director of product strategy. It was for a local ticketing company. We did ticketing for pro sports teams and college sports teams. And the role as director of product strategy, I had to Google, what does a director of product strategy do? For me, I guess it was a natural fit, but I didn't really know it. Even when they were recruiting me, I remember saying, well, I never went to school for product management. I don't know if I would be good at this. They said, oh, no, Mike, don't worry about it. Nobody went to school for product management. You'll be fine. But the skills and just kind of background I had as an entrepreneur, bringing new businesses to life, I already was a product person. I just didn't really realize that. And so once I really understood that, it became a lot more fun. What I was doing, got a little more confident in myself. I'll say the biggest thing that helped me, aside from just sort of taking on that mindset, was just talking to other product people too. But yeah, for me, I came into product management by way of being an entrepreneur, which, as I've found, is one of many common paths that some product people take.
Yeah, that's very cool. Yeah, I mean, you're building a product, so you may not have had that title, but essentially you were managing and building a product to start with. So, excellent. Jackie?
Yeah, so I started out in UX, user experience design, which I fell into in undergrad. So I took a class in human computer interaction, which a friend was like, hey, let's take this class at a nearby school. And I was like, cool, let's take it. Why not? Fell in love with it. I knew I wanted to I love psychology, love computer science. This was the melding of the two, loved it. So I went to grad school for that, got a master's degree in human computer interaction, went into user experience design, did that for 11 years. At various agencies, and went up through that. And then when I lost my job due to COVID in early 2020, I was applying to various director of UX jobs, but I also started looking at these product management jobs. And the descriptions actually weren't as different as you might think between UX director jobs and product management jobs. As a UX director, I had done a lot of UX strategy work, a lot of here's what features I think you should do next based on research, a lot of that kind of thing. So it actually felt, in a lot of ways, there were some new skills, but there was a lot of, as well, very natural transition points between being a UX director over to product management. So a lot of new things to learn, but also a fairly natural transition as well.
Yeah, and the design and product roles are very complementary for sure, and very highly dependent on each other. Depending on the product you're building, et cetera. So it's a natural extension for one either way, honestly, from UX to product or product to UX. Yeah. That's cool. Chariatu?
Yeah. So my path was a little very non-conventional, I guess. Unconventional. So I went to school for chemical engineering, and then I got bored. And then I went to a software boot camp because I was like, oh, I want to code. And then midway through, I got bored as well. And then I bounced around between different types of jobs within technology. So cybersecurity and change management and problem management, even business development, to where I was selling hardware to customers. And eventually I realized that my boredom wasn't because I just wasn't interested, but it's because I wanted to touch everything all the time. And so when I was talking to people and kind of asking for guidance about like, well, I'm not really sure what to do. And they'd say, what do you like? And I'd explain it. And I had a conversation with someone and they're like, that sounds like product. And so the more research I did, I just fit into that space. And so I found a company whose values aligned with mine and who's working on really cool projects, and they brought me on. So that's literally how I got started, just kind of bouncing around until I found something that fit and hit all of the things that I wanted to touch on in my career.
No, that's great to hear. And I think what highlights from the three of you is, we're all trying different paths. You accumulate a lot of skills, acquire these skills that allow you to be effective and create great products and bring value to the business and solve problems for customers. So you have to have experience in, maybe design or marketing, hardware, software, entrepreneurship, et cetera. And there's many different specialties, if you will, specializations within product. Product is sort of an umbrella, but there's product management, there's software, there's hardware. We mentioned a few of these things like marketing, UX design. Chariatu, you do coaching now, as do I. Give the audience a little bit more insight into, kind of your current role and past product roles. What are your responsibilities? Who do you collaborate with? What's your day-to-day look like? Maybe Jackie, let's start with you.
Yeah. So, like I said, I'm currently head of product management. I was a product manager before that, and I also am an interim product manager right now as we're hiring for a current role. But as the head of product management, I work really closely with the other heads in the product space. So the head of design, the head of platform, we have a head of special projects. Most especially, I work really closely with the head of engineering. So the head of engineering and the head of product management have to be really, really closely aligned, just like product managers and engineering managers have to be really tightly coupled in order to make forward progress. So she and I we talk all the time. I have 7 product managers on my team right now, so I meet with each one at least once a week, generally more. I also have a couple team meetings a week. One of those is just kind of talking about whatever's going on in our team. We also have one to kind of level up what we're doing, which next week we'll actually be at industry and talking about that, then I'm sure after that. I'm also working on filling open roles, right? So I do a lot of interviewing and things like that. I stay very connected with the rest of the company too, outside of product. So I meet with our operations folks, our growth folks, the rest of the company, making sure that just overall things are working smoothly between product and the rest of the company.
Very cool. Yeah, a lot of responsibilities, particularly if you're head of product and have to work with, you have a seat at the leadership table and work with other heads of departments to deliver, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Jariatu?
Sure. So as a coach, I usually go in as a consultant for an organization that needs help in their product space. And depending on what kind of help they need, my role can vary. So I can range from a player, which I'm on the team. I go into a team, I'm a part of the team, and I'm partially responsible for delivery. So serving as product manager, collaborating between the engineers and the business side and making sure that things are getting delivered quickly and with quality. And I can also range from just full-on coach and going in and analyzing for a team or an organization where they're running into issues, helping them work through those issues, identify goals for improvement that they want to accomplish, and then starting to teach them and guide them through the proper practices and mindset in order to reach those objectives. So a very ranging day, lots of talking all the time, but also lots of interaction with people, which working in technology, I think people have a misconception that all tech roles are just like very heads down and on your computer. And no, it's a very people-facing role. Lots of conversations, lots of analysis, and lots of collaboration with other people to get things done. So.
Yeah, definitely. Myself as a coach, also and a consultant, you definitely, and this is the case for full-time employees as well. A lot of collaboration, a lot of discussion, a lot of brainstorming, a lot of risk management, a lot of understanding, customer needs, and what's feasible, what's viable, those kinds of things that allow you to deliver what you can deliver, and provide value to the customer and provide value to the business as well. Very cool. Mike?
Yeah, my role now is definitely different than when I first got into product, right? When I first got into product management, I was a product manager, essentially. I mean, regardless of what my title said back then, it was director of product strategy. Really, I was a product manager, but on the new product side of our business. I think what you'll find when you get into product management is there are some titles that might be straightforward, like product manager, but a product manager at one organization might be completely different than a product manager at another. Or again, when you get into some titles like getting product strategy, that might mean something different in one place to another. So fast forwarding to what I do now, though, I run a community for product managers and product leaders. And what I mean by that is that there are 40,000 product people out there throughout the world that we touch in some way, whether they're getting our newsletter every week that we send out and have been sending out for the last several years. Whether actually even more people, I guess, if you consider people that listen to our podcasts, people that take part in our video chats, people that come to our conferences. So right now, my role is acting as a connector for the product management community, much like Sean is doing, here in Ohio, in Cleveland specifically. Sean's doing this at a local level, which is so needed. And I and Product Collective, we do that at a national level and even beyond the US, spanning into Europe and other places. And I think it's really important what, people like me and Sean are doing. First of all, I love what I'm doing, right? So I'd love to think what I'm doing is somewhat important, but I do think connecting product people to each other is really important. I think when I first got into product, it was one of the things, connecting and learning from other product people, understanding that, okay, I guess these feelings that I'm feeling like I don't know what I'm doing, I'm not alone, because guess what? So many people in product feel that way. I think it's important for people to know that the things that they're going through, other people are going through those things too, and they don't have to feel like they're alone in the process. And, at places like industry, we've seen people meet each other and eventually team up and start companies of their own. We've seen people hire each other once they've gotten to know each other in person at industry, or even just virtually through some of the things that we're doing. So the day-to-day, varies widely. I mean, I am involved, really, kind of, I'm at within our company. I'm the one that's recruiting speakers, and reviewing our call for speakers when we put that out. I'm also collaborating with my partner on marketing initiatives as well. I'm out there trying to create new products for our business. So in a way, we are still those product people. It's just instead of software, now those products are conferences. Those products are services that we're offering. Like for instance, we launched a cohort program called Rising Leaders and have gone through 2 cohorts of that, where really it's a mix of small group coaching and virtual meetups, along with other content curation. So I'm playing that entrepreneur role that I played early on in my career, but doing it with product people, which is for me is awesome because again, this is a group of people that I can identify with, and those problems that we're trying to solve for, they're near and dear to my heart because I felt them when I was first getting involved in product as well. So there's not a day that is, for me, there's not necessarily a day that feels like the last one, right? Like things are different all the time in terms of the things that I'm doing. But some of those sort of common activities for me, it's like interviewing people for our video chats, our podcasts, reaching out to sponsors, trying to get them to support the conference, all of those things, in addition to those other activities I mentioned before, sort of keeps me busy day to day.
Very cool. Yeah, and I think Mike and Jackie and Jariatu, I think through your conversations, there's a lot of different things that can happen day to day. Every day is a different day. Every day is a new adventure. So, what would you say? Last question, as we kind of wrap up our conversation. Last question. For those listening to this, they haven't started their professional journey yet. What piece of advice would you get to them if they're considering a career in product, right? They're so inspired by our conversation today or things they've read or people they've talked to. What one piece of advice would you give to aspiring product people, so that they can accelerate that career and really land a good product role? Jariatu, I'll start with you.
I would say get curious and do all the things. Find a few things that you like and don't be afraid to fully explore them and fully try them out. And once you feel like you've hit a certain depth, try another thing. Just get a wide range of experiences and knowledge around product or products being built. Find companies that allow you to do that and really kind of hone in and identify what it is that moves you and what you really like and gravitate towards. But try it all.
Yeah, that's great. Mike?
Well, first of all, I love that first piece of advice. I think that's right on. I would say make as many new product friends as you can, because this is something that, again, because it's not traditionally taught in, whether you go to college. Again, some of these classes are happening now, even in case I'm teaching a class, but it's one class, right? So it's not something that we're going to come out of even college feeling like, okay, I'm prepared to be a product manager. So making as many product friends as you can and sort of, building out a network for yourself. And these are the same people that you can help. These are the same people that might keep an eye out for you if you're looking for a role, if you're running into a roadblock or a challenge. So aside from doing all the things, I would say make a lot of product friends. And I think that will help anybody.
Excellent. Jackie?
Gosh, on top of those 2 things, I would say focus on your soft skills. No matter what you end up doing, those soft skills are really, really key anywhere in product and beyond product, honestly. You're going to have to be a great writer. You're going to have to be a great speaker. And the only way to get there really, you can take classes, you can practice, you can talk with your friends and practice with them. It's really something that, you're going to have to get good at, though. And it's something that just doesn't come easily, I think, to most people. But it is something to work on, and that will really help accelerate your career.
Yeah, that's great advice. I love all 3 of those. And even I would say soft skills, those are hard. I know it's kind of an oxymoron, but those things definitely got to invest in those, invest in a community, be curious. That's all great advice. So, wrapping up, very much thank you. Appreciate the time from our panelists today. Hopefully those of you watching learned something. I know I did. So appreciate your time, your willingness to join us. Thanks everybody for joining.